and welcome to Easy Math channel. This week we will try to understand solving equation. And in mathematics, solving equation is nothing but it means to find the solution, that is the value of x that fulfills the condition of the equation. And I know it doesn't make any sense with just a statement, but it's a really important concept. So for example, if I were to give you a simple example, let's say you have $20. You went to a store and you want to spend this entire $20 to buy as many pens as you want. So let's say this $20 can buy you 10 pens. So you want to understand, okay, so how much does each pen cost? So in order to find out that how much does each pen cost, you can just divide 20 by 10 and you get 2. So this 2 is nothing but this x that we are talking about. And the other part of the statement that says fulfills the condition of the equation. So if you want to make an equation from this statement, it's nothing but 10 times x, which is, so x is nothing but the number of pens, and this is equal to 20. So I bought 10 pens, and how much does each pen cost? So that is determined by x, and the total cost for those 10 pens were $20. So in order to find out x, it's nothing but x is 20 by 10. So we figured out that the number of pens, it's the cost of each pen. It's not number of pen, it's cost of each pen. It's $2. So we can see that x equals 2 fulfills this condition of the equation. And it's okay if you still have questions from this example. We'll go over a couple more examples, and in this video we'll try to understand solving equation from three different perspectives. One is using addition and subtraction, the other is using division, and the last is using multiplication. So let's get into our first use case, which is using addition and subtraction. So this is our first equation, which is 3x plus 3 equals x plus 13. So the first thing we will always do is try to bring x on one side. So all x's on one side, and other terms on other side. So we have 3x here, we have x here. So we'll bring x on one side and then 3 and 13 on the other side of the equal to sign. So in order to do that, we will subtract x from both sides. So this is nothing but 2x plus 3, and this x cancels, and we get 13. And now since we have x on the one side, now it's time to get this term on the other side. So we'll do subtract 3 from both the sides. So we get 2x, and then this 3 and this 3 cancels out, plus 3 minus 3, and then we get 13 minus 3 is 10. So we get 2x equals 10. And then the second term would be solve for x. So this says 2 times x equals 10. So what is 2 times what is 10? So we know that 2 times 5 is 10. So that means x is 5. So this solves the condition of this equation. So x equals 5. If we put x as 5, so let's say 3 times 5 plus 3, this is the left side of this equation. We get 15 plus 3, which is 18. And if we solve again 5 plus 13, we also get 18. So this x equals 5 solves or fulfills the condition of this equation. Alright, let's look at another example, which is 4x minus 2 equals 3x plus 1. So the first step is to bring all the x's or any other variable. In this case we have x, but in some equation you will see y, you will see z, a, b, c, something like that. But in general this means like bring all the x's on one side, or the second way of saying is all the like terms on the one side and the other terms on the other side. All right, so we'll bring x on one side. So in order to do that, we will subtract 3x from both sides. So 4x minus 2 minus 3x, or let me do this way. 4x minus 3x minus 2 equals 3x minus 3x plus 1. So 4x minus 3x is just x, so we get x minus 2, and then this and this cancels off, we get 1. And now bringing 2 to the other side, so which is x minus 2 plus 2, 1 plus 2. So this cancels and we get x equals 3. So this is, again, this is the x value that fulfills this equation or the condition of the equation. So again, if we substitute x as 3 in here, we get 4 times 3 minus 2, which is 12 minus 2, which is 10. And then 3 times 3 plus 1, which is 9 plus 1 equals 10. So you can see that if when you substitute 3, it fulfills, again, fulfills the condition of this equation. Cool. Let's go into the other type of solving the equation. So in this case we will focus on division. So in the last case we focused on subtraction and multiplication. In this we'll focus on division. So the equation, the first equation is 3x equals 21. So this says that what times 3 is 21. So we know that 3 times 7 is 21. So that means x is 7. Or the other way is, if this is still too confusing, the other way is we only want x on this side. We want to get rid of 3. So how can we get rid of 3? It's simple. We'll just divide both sides by 3. So when we divide this by 3 and this by 3, this 3 and this 3 cancels, and we get x equals, and then 21 divided by 3 is 7. So that's the answer. And again, you can see that this value fulfills the condition of the equation. All right. The second is 3x plus 2x equals 20. So we know 3x plus 2x is 5x equals 20. And similar to this first equation, we know that what times 5 equals 20. So we know that 5 times 4 equals 20. So this gives us x equals 4. Or if you want to solve it other way, we have 5x equals 20. We just want x on this side. So in order to just have x on this side, we'll have to divide by 5. So we will divide this both the sides by 5, and this cancels. We just get 1x, so which is x, and 20 divided by 5 is 4. So this is our answer. The last part of this video is solving equation using multiplication method. This is, again, it uses the similar concept. If you're familiar by now with multiplication, with subtraction, addition, and division, this is not anything different. It's the same concept, uses the same logic, and everything is still the same. It's just that the terms are arranged differently. So for example, this is our first equation, which is x divided by 4 equals 3. As you remember from all the videos, from the last videos, we always try to just have x on one side and everything else on the other side. Now since here we have x divided by 4, I only want x on this side, so I want to get rid of the 4. So how do I do that? It's by multiplying by 4 on both the sides, right? So if I do that, this and this is 1, so I get 1x, which is x equals 12. Or the other way is, what is that number that if I divide by 4 gives me 3? So we know that if I divide 12 by 4, I get 3. Or the other way is just transfer this over here in multiplication form. So we get x is 3 times 4, which is 12. Cool. Let's look at, this is our second example. So let's look at this. And this concept uses both multiplication and division. So, and we'll try to solve it all the three ways. So one is 3x by 4. Now, using this method, I need to get rid of this 4. So how do I do that? Is multiplying both the sides by 4. So this and this is 1. So 3x times 1 is just 3x equals 9 times 4 is 36. And then divide both the sides by 3 because I need to get rid of this 3. This is 1. So 1 times x is x. And then this is 12. So I know x is equal to 12. Now let's look at using this method. So I know, well, this might be tricky, but let's still solve it. So I know that 3 times what number divided by 4 will give me 9. I know this will be a little tricky, and we know that this is 12. So for example, if I divide 12 by 4, I get 3, and then 3 times 3 is 9. So this is another way, but in this equation, it might be trickier to know the answer since this was just x by something else, but here we have x times something else and divided by something else. So it might get a little trickier, but again, the same logic. All right, so, and let's use this concept, this method of solving it now. So we have 3x by 4 equals 9. We will transfer this here in multiplication form. So we get 3x equals 9 times 4. So 3x equals 36, and then divide both the sides by 3. Since we only want x on this side, so we need to get rid of 3. So this is x equals 12. Awesome. So this is how you solve for a given equation. And again, this is a really important concept. Like, don't just look at it as, just finding a value of x, but from a practical perspective, we can go back to our first equation, which is, finding the cost of each pen if you can only buy 10 pens with $20. So something like that. I hope this video was useful, and I hope it was easier to understand and some of your doubts about how to solve an equation are clarified through this video. If you do like this video, please subscribe to my channel Easy Math, and please leave your comments below and feel free to share it with your friends. Thank you.